understand this irony? How do we understand this irony of plenty?
Anubha, it's plenty for the country, but nothing for the farmer. Unfortunately, it takes nothing less than death of farmer for us to notice their plight. It takes their suicide for us to remember that something is wrong with them. And it takes murder for us to take notice of their demand and agitation. And as you rightly pointed out, the real problem is that this is not a distress year. This is not a drought year. This was a normal monsoon followed by a bumper crop. And what has happened is that in state after state, prices have crashed. Farmers suffer when there is drought, they understand that. But when they suffer in a plentiful year because they don't get price for that, this is where they fail to understand and they blame the government, and rightly so. This is, and incidentally, the place where this has happened, Madhya Pradesh has been a official success story of Indian agriculture for the last 5-7 years.
True.
The trouble is that in this country, we look at agriculture policy and everything in terms of production, not in terms of the producer. We are interested in the fiscal health of the government, not in the fiscal health of the farmer. And I think, to my mind, if all this tragedy serves to focus attention on one simple question, it is not crop loan. It is not loan waiver. The real question is farmers' income. Farmers do not have income in this country to speak of. Farming is a loss-making proposition. It is an unviable occupation. Unless we as a country were to attend to this reality, there's nothing that anyone would be able to do. Tragedies of this sort would be repeated. My colleague Yogesh is quite right in pointing out the fact that the government had made a written promise. It was not a vague promise saying we'll implement Swaminathan Commission. They specifically said 50% over and above the cost. It was not one of those casual promises made in manifesto. It is a promise BJP has repeated state after state in all election manifestos. It's one of the principal demand of farmers movement. And not only has Amit Shah denied it, the government has actually filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court saying that this is unfulfillable.
I want to just push.
I just want to, seriously.
I just want to push the same point forward. I know you've said that this is not about the crop loan waiver. This is about the farmers' income. But I think there is no denying the fact that once the central establishment allowed the UP government to announce a loan waiver in Uttar Pradesh, under the reasoning or under the pretext that it was the party's election promise, there has been now a can of worms that has opened for the other states. But in a sense, it's left the respective states to make that call on the farm loan waiver. Today, you've heard the RBI governor coming out very, very clearly that we have a very small space for fiscal discipline. So if you are a state who can manage it, it's your problem.
I heard the RBI governor and I instantly wished that he had said something of this kind about corporate loans which have been waived, which have been written off, and banks which have been ripped off. I don't remember listening to the RBI governor saying these very smart economic things at that time. I heard the SBI chief as well, and my colleague has already pointed out the hypocrisy in the way in which these things are spoken. Unfortunately, farmers' plight is nobody's business among the decision makers. They matter only when elections come into being.